back to Flex Candle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. I'm Flex, and today we're diving into a full top-down analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, and gold. We're going to start from the higher time frames, work our way down to the lower time frames, and check to see if we find any good setups. Now remember, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Alright guys, so right now it's about 4:46 p.m. Eastern time. The price of Bitcoin is at 117,219, and we've gone down and came back up a lot. We will be going over that. Now starting off with the weekly time frame, yesterday we were green. Today we don't even look like we have a candle here. It's just a wick going up and a wick going down. We still have 2 days and 3 hours before this closes. If it closes like this, unfortunately this is bearish. I would assume it's going to close bearish just because we do have a topping tail here coming on from last week. The stochastics here are looking toppy. The 21 moving average is kind of far away, which is at 98,848. Take a look at the daily chart. As you can see, we wicked all the way down today to about 114,723, but I don't believe we closed that CME gap yet. I believe the CME gap is like around 114,300 or so. I'm just going to say 114,000 to be safe. Now if we close at 117 today in a couple of hours, then we don't close the CME gap. If we end up going to a 114 Saturday and Sunday, we still won't close it. It has to be through Monday through Friday. So next week Jerome Powell will be speaking. It's possible that maybe we go down next week, says something people don't like or whatever it is, and then we close it next week. Again, we don't have to close a gap. We got pretty close to it, but 90% of the time those CME gaps do get closed. So we did wick down. I told you guys a couple days ago, obviously if you guys been listening to the episodes, that I see us going sideways and then possibly wicking down to the 21 moving average. We wicked below it, and now we're currently above it at the moment. 2 hours and 11 minutes before this candle closes. Let's see what ends up happening. Now the stochastics here are starting to reset. We're getting below the dotted line here. It's still going to take about a couple of days so that we could curve and start coming back up, unless we drag here for a very long time. As long as we could remain above this 21 moving average, we are bullish. Now if we lose it, we have the possibility of going close to this 50 moving average, which is at 110,366. Now if we take a look at the 8-hour chart, the stochastics are also resetting, so we're getting low. So we might be getting a move back up. I would want us to come back down, even though we already came back from the bottom, just to close that gap, just to make sure there's nothing lingering around so that we could continue just going up from here on out. But let's see what ends up happening. Now on the 4-hour chart, the stochastics reset. It looks like we're on the way up. I'm starting to see a little curve here. We are below the 21 moving average though, unfortunately, and on this flag pattern that I have, we broke below it. We have broken below it other times here. We've made it back up. Right now we're looking bullish on the 4 hours, so it's possible we make it back into this flag and just going and continue to go sideways here. Let's see what ends up happening. This head and shoulder pattern that I took off the other day, technically we got some of the measured move. It was measured to 111,500, so we probably made almost half of the move, if you still want to count that. I'm not counting it no more. If we take a look here, this kind of looks though like a head and shoulder pattern, and that kind of looks like it did play out. So let's see what ends up happening there. On the 1-hour chart, stochastics are getting toppy. This does look to me like a W pattern, a double bottom. So the measured move to this would be from the bottom all the way to the neckline, and this will pretty much take us back to the 200 moving average, which is at 118,162. So it's possible we do make it back up there. Maybe we get rejected. Let's see what ends up happening. We are kind of toppy, like I said. On the 15-minute chart, stochastics are on the way down. Same thing, a double bottom here. We are below the 200 right now. We're staying alive with the 21 moving average here on the 15-minute chart. So overall, I would say we're probably just gonna go sideways. We did lose a 21, and mostly all the averages here on the 4-hour chart, we have to stay above 112,390, which is where the 200 moving average is on the 4 hour. If we lose that, then things start to get a little bit more bearish. Now let's head over to Ethereum. In Ethereum right now, the price is 3,721. On the weekly chart, we're also getting toppy. We made a gigantic move last week. We made it all the way as high as 3,825, around there. Currently right now we have an indecisive red candle. Still have 2 days and 3 hours before this closes. We are above the moving averages, so this is bullish here, but the stochastics are toppy. The RSI is toppy. It's possible that we come down. If this closes like this, it's not going to be a good sign, because these are tweezer tops, which means we probably are going to come down, and we are far away from the 21 and the 200 moving average. The 21 moving average is at 2,333 and the 200 is at 2,434. So you guys already know, if we get too far away from that, chances are we're going to go down or go sideways and wait for these moving averages to catch up a little bit. On the daily chart, stochastics are on the way down. Actually, we have a lot more room to go down down compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's already on the bottom. The Ethereum is only halfway down. 21 moving average is at $3,205. So I do see us possibly coming down or going sideways and waiting for this line to catch up to price. I don't think we're going to make a big move at the moment, especially since Bitcoin is teeter-tottering up and down and not really breaking any new highs at the moment. Now on the 4-hour chart, we're starting to lose the 21 moving average. We just got above it a little bit. Stochastics are in between. It looks like we want to roll over here. On the 1-hour chart, we're on the way back up. This does look like a double bottom as well, so this could bring us up momentarily. At least we are above the 21 and the 200. So right now, as long as Bitcoin is still going up and down, it's going to be hard to think that the altcoins are going to make a gigantic move, especially with the stochastics being toppy on the daily. Now let's take a look at Cardano. Now Cardano made a pretty decent move. We made it up to about 93 cents, almost 94 cents. The stochastics still have some room to go, but we're getting up there already. Again, this does look like a double bottom as well, and this would break us up to about 115, 117 if we're able to do that. Not liking this wick. We still have to see how this closes in about 2 days. On the daily chart, the stochastics are on the way down. Now the 200 moving average is at 74 cents. The 21 moving average is also at 74 cents and change. As you can see, we went all the way up. We hit the 94 cents and then we basically gave it all back, and we went back down as low as 76 cents here. Now what's bullish is that the 21 moving average is about to cross the 200 moving average. If that happens and we're able to stay above the 21 and the 200, then I could see us starting to blast back up, especially with the weekly still having momentum on the stochastic to go up here. We just cannot lose this line. We've worked hard and we got a lot of strength up there, but we cannot lose this. Since the stochastics are kind of getting low here, maybe we could hold the line, just go sideways, and then eventually break up from here. Now on the 4-hour chart, the stochastics are on the way up, but we lost the 21, we lost the 50. We're about to lose the 80 here. The 100 moving average is keeping us up here. Once again, if we lose the 200 moving average, which is at 67.5 cents, then it might be more bearish times here for Cardano. Cardano didn't run as much as I would have liked it to compared to the other altcoins like XRP and Ethereum. On the 1-hour chart, stochastics are on the way up. We lost the 200. We're trying to stay above here on the 21 moving average. This could be some type of an inverted head and shoulder, but that will probably just make us get back above the 200 moving average at 84 cents. So right now I'm seeing sideways action for the altcoins, same thing as for Bitcoin. Now on XRP, on the weekly, if it closes like this in 2 days, this is horrible. This is a tweezer top here. We made it all the way up to $3.70, and so far we came all the way back down to $2.96. But we still have some room on the stochastics. We're starting to curve here a little bit. 21 moving average is at $2.34. I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and consolidate a little bit under $3 or like around the $3 range before coming up, because we did make a very big move. On the daily chart, stochastics are on the way down. We're starting to get below this dotted line here. We're above the 21 moving average. That's at $2.93. We need to hold this. We lose this, then the next stop could be the 200 moving average at $2.43. We already worked very hard to get above here. We need to maintain ourselves above the 21 moving average. On the 4-hour chart, stochastics are on the way up. We lost most of the moving averages. We're being held up by the 100, which is at $3.08. And once again, if we lose this 200 moving average at $2.64, things start to get bearish when it comes to XRP and some of these altcoins. All the altcoins kind of look like we have like this bottoming pattern kind of looking thing here, kind of like an inverted head and shoulders. Hopefully we can make it back up. Now the last one that we want to look at is gold. And gold on the weekly, you guys know I have this in a flag that will take us up to about 3,700, close to 4,000, and we just been going up and down, teeter-tottering here. The weekly is starting to reset. We might be going on the way up. Now remember, on Bitcoin and on some other altcoins, we're toppy on the stochastics for the weekly, which means they're going to start coming down. And on gold, the stochastics on the weekly are now getting low, looking like they want to come up. So sometimes gold runs as altcoins and Bitcoin comes down. Crypto runs up sometimes as gold is coming down. So look for that correlation to see if that happens. We might start seeing a move in gold. On the daily chart, the stochastics are on the way down. We're starting to lose the 21 moving average here. As long as we don't break below this flag, which is at around 3,250, we could be held up here by this 100 moving average at at 3,238. You know, things aren't too bad here for gold. On the 4-hour chart, we did lose a 21 moving average and we did lose the 200 now so far, but stochastics are low. We're double bottoming here on the stochastics, so it looks like we might make it back up to the 21 moving average. So for gold, I see us eventually making some type of a move. I see us making more of a move sometime in August. So right now we're just following the pattern and things just look to go sideways. So overall, guys, I see just more sideways and some possible downside. I don't think we're going to get severe downside when it comes to crypto, but I think we are going to go a little bit sideways just because we made a big move up. We want to consolidate here and start prepping ourselves to slingshot back up. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. If this gave you clarity or a setup to watch, do me a favor, like, drop a comment, subscribe, and if you have a stock or crypto you want me to go over, drop it in the comment section. This is Flex Candle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Catch you on the next chart.